Hello, so I just got back from my first couch to 5k run and I've literally walked through the door, got a glass of water and I'm back into parenting mode, hence the slightly strange location of filming this in the children's bedroom, but I just wanted to press record and film straight away so that I can give you the lowdown on my first run and how that went. So I've decided to do couch to 5k mainly because I just want to improve my fitness. I'm in my early to mid 30s now, and since having children I really haven't been doing any exercise, and I am just conscious that it's a time in your life when you need to start really taking care of your body. I'm also hoping that it will lead to more weight loss. I have at least a couple of stone that I would like to lose, so that's another reason why I've decided to do it. I've been doing HIIT videos and kind of smaller workout videos on YouTube just in and around the kids when I can at home, but I found that without a clear goal I was starting to flounder a bit with that, and the motivation was waning, so I thought couch to 5k is a really clear set target. And I would just love by the end of it to actually be able to run for, you know, a couple of kilometres. That would be amazing, let alone 5k, but you know, small goals here to start off with. So those are my reasons. Timing wise, now is a great time. It's getting into the warmer months, so it's a lot more pleasant to be outside and running. Sam isn't travelling for the next few months, so I have a good uninterrupted routine to kind of get going with, so there's just no excuses really. I wanted to talk a little bit about the preparation that I did before I started it. I didn't just wake up on a whim, download the app and try to do it. I did purchase a few things beforehand and do a little bit of reading and get a few apps. So I'm going to talk about that now in case it's helpful to anyone else who's thinking of starting. So the first thing I had to do was to buy a sports bra. I haven't had any decent sports bras for ages, so that was really important and has made all the difference to exercising. So what I wore for my run is basically just an old t-shirt that I wear as a pyjama t-shirt, some standard leggings and my Nike running trainers that I have. I didn't buy any specific like jogging kit. I just thought let's see how it goes in my standard trainers and my standard leggings and t-shirt, and to see how I get on with it, and then maybe if I really love it I will invest in some better running trainers later down the line, but I know what I'm like, and if I invest in it all in the start, sometimes, you know, these sort of little fads and phases don't end up catching on with me, and then I'm just left with a load of stuff I've bought that's going to no use. The next thing I purchased was this, which is like a zipped belt with some pockets so that I can put my phone and my keys in there. Obviously if you've got shorts or joggers with pockets then that's probably unnecessary, but for me I was having a real conundrum as to where I was going to store all this stuff, because when I wear leggings I don't have any pockets, and I really wanted to be able to listen to music and my podcast and obviously have my keys on me. I saw a more expensive version of this, but this one I just bought basically the cheapest thing that I could find on Amazon. I think it was like a tenner or maybe a little bit under. This one I think is called Moco is the brand. I'll link to that below in the description box. So I also downloaded a couple of apps for my phone. I spent a bit of time googling and trying to work out which apps were good to use that wouldn't interrupt music, so you could have both playing at the same time, or my podcast. I didn't want an app that I had to listen to constantly. So instead of the official NHS Couch to 5k app, I downloaded an app called Get Running, which is here. I think I did have to pay a little bit for this, but for me it was worth it because I knew that I just wanted to be able... Okay, hang on Roz, I'll be there in a second. But for me that was worth it because I knew that I wanted to be able to listen to my music or my podcast without interruption. So this, when it tells you when it's time to run, it kind of dims whatever you're listening to, tells you to start running or whatever the command is, and then brings your music back up. So there's minimal interruption, so that's really great. The second app I downloaded is Map My Run, and that was just so that I can keep track of how many miles or kilometres I'm doing, just for motivation really. And I think there are lots of different apps like this, and I can't actually remember why I chose this one. So on to how the first run went. I say run, it's half running, half walking. If you are not familiar with Couch to 5k at all, I'll just explain it to you for the moment. So week one, I think I do 3 or 4 runs this week. You do a run and then you have a rest day, and then you do another run and then you have a rest day, and so on and so on. And the first week is 1 minute of running followed by a minute and a half of walking. So you alternate that until you're finished, and I think altogether it's 8 sessions of running. So I started off today, and I am quite self-conscious because I don't have the physique of a runner, and I was a bit sort of not very confident and thinking that everyone else that's out will be sort of looking at me and knowing that I'm not an experienced runner and thinking, oh, what does she think she's doing? But I kind of had to just quickly get over that, and actually I found that after the first couple of running sessions I was kind of more in the zone, and I was just kind of like listening to my podcast and wasn't really looking at other people. And there were a few other runners and joggers in the park, and a few other people just kind of walking around, so I did have to do that awkward sort of walk past people. It wasn't completely deserted, but it was fine. You just get over that quite quickly, I think. The most embarrassing thing was that they were setting up for some official sort of park run thing in the park, and there were a whole group of like people in like high-vis jackets sort of standing around as I was like panting up to them, and they sort of all looked at me and like smiled and said hi, and I was just a bit like, hi, and then like, you know, I'm not part of this official run, I'm just here by myself. And then the second half of the run I was much more in the zone, and it was all fine, and I just kind of got on with it and quite enjoyed being like zoned out and in my own little world. So 8 sessions of running means that I ran for 8 minutes, which is quite a big deal for me because I have been doing a tiny bit of exercise, but not much and not regularly. So I am pretty much as unfit as I've ever been. This is literally couch to running. Like, you couldn't get more typical of that statement. So I was quite proud of myself that I managed to run for 8 minutes, and by the end I was feeling it, but it wasn't as hard work as I thought it was going to be. When I started I thought, I'm not sure I'm going to do all 8 sessions, I think I'm going to be collapsed in a heap before it gets to like the 7th session. So the fact that I managed to do the whole thing just shows that it is really, really achievable, and it is such a gentle start. I can see why they give you a rest day the next day, because my legs are aching a little bit, and I think if I was doing this a lot that would become an issue. Someone who hasn't done any regular exercise for at least 6 years, I managed to do this, so that just shows you that it is completely achievable. And if you're thinking of starting, then just give it a go. Do a bit of prep, get the apps that you want, make sure you've got running trainers, and then just get out there and give it a go, and you might be really surprised that you managed to achieve it, because I really was. I think one of the challenges in the future is probably going to be motivation. You have to do this every other day, and I know there's going to be days where that doesn't quite fit with my routine, or I've had a bad night's sleep because of the children, or something else has come up. So I think that my main thing is just going to be sticking to the routine, and I'm going to try my best to work out ways to make that work. But as far as first goes go, this was so positive for me. I didn't think that I would be able to finish this first run, and it was actually set at a really comfortable pace for me. I could feel that I was pushing myself, but it wasn't too much, and it didn't leave me unable to finish it or completely out of breath. So yeah, I'm really pleased about that, and I'm actually really looking forward to doing the next one in a couple of days' time. I'll do another video on this maybe in a few weeks' time, once the training's kind of built up a bit, so that you can see how I'm getting on. The main reason I'm filming this is so that I stick to it. This is another part of my motivation plan. I figure if I get it out there and I say I'm doing it, then I kind of have to stick to it. Baby?
I have a baby that does not want to be left alone.
As you can see, I have been handed a grumpy baby, so I'm going to end this video here. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Say bye, grumpy baby.
Bye.